Imagine a crowded airport terminal, people rushing to catch flights, the usual background noise echoing through the air. Suddenly, everything stops. An elderly black man, calm and dignified, stands face to face with a stern gate agent. Without warning, she snatches his passport and, in full view of dozens of shocked onlookers, tears it in half. Gasps ripple through the crowd as disbelief and outrage fill the air. What could drive someone in authority to publicly humiliate a passenger like this? What secret is hidden behind the calm eyes of the man whose journey is so abruptly shattered? If stories like this intrigue you and make you question the hidden truths in everyday life, take a second to subscribe right now. We reveal the untold, the unexpected, and the moments that change everything, just like the one you're about to witness. As the boarding line shuffled forward, the man's calm demeanor stood in stark contrast to the bustling crowd around him. He wore a crisp navy suit, silver cufflinks, and a quiet confidence that seemed almost out of place. He greeted the gate agent, a woman with tightly coiffed blonde hair and a name badge that read, Ms. Peterson, with a polite smile and offered his passport and ticket. She barely glanced at him, her eyes moving swiftly between the documents and his face, her expression neutral but sharp. The air was charged with the usual pre-flight tension, but something about this moment felt different. Ms. Peterson studied the passport with a frown, flipping through its pages with more force than necessary. She scanned the boarding pass, checked the name, then glanced back at the man. He waited, patient, but a subtle tightening of his posture suggested he sensed her suspicion. Behind him, other passengers shifted anxiously, eager to board, but a few noticed the exchange, especially when Ms. Peterson's tone grew louder. "I'm going to need you to step aside, sir," she announced, her voice ringing through the terminal. A hush fell as the man calmly complied, stepping out of line and standing to the side as she called for a supervisor over her radio. Whispers rippled through the waiting passengers. Some craned their necks, curious, while others rolled their eyes, frustrated by yet another delay. The supervisor arrived, a middle-aged man in a crisp uniform, and Ms. Peterson quickly explained her suspicion: "This passport doesn't look right. And the boarding pass is strange, there's a discrepancy in the system. It could be a fake." The man remained silent, his eyes fixed on the agent, the calm never leaving his face. The supervisor took the documents, double-checking the passport and the ticket, his brow furrowing as he compared the information on his tablet. He asked the traveler to confirm his name and destination. "Certainly. My name is Charles Evans, and I'm traveling to Washington, D.C. on Flight 482, the man replied smoothly, his voice steady and clear. But the supervisor hesitated, glancing at Ms. Peterson, who was now visibly agitated. "We see a lot of this," she said loudly, waving the passport. "People think they can get away with fake documents." The supervisor said nothing, handing the documents back to Ms. Peterson. And then, in a moment that would later be replayed in the minds of every witness, Ms. Peterson tore the passport and boarding pass in half, her expression triumphant. "Fake ID, fake ticket. You're not going anywhere today," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Some passengers looked horrified, others seemed uncertain whether to intervene. Charles Evans stood perfectly still, the pieces of his passport falling to the floor. For a heartbeat, the world seemed to stop. And then, quietly, he reached into his jacket pocket and produced another wallet, this one marked with a golden seal. He held it up, and the badge inside gleamed under the airport's fluorescent lights. "My name is Charles Evans. I am a senior inspector with the Federal Aviation Administration." This was a routine inspection. "And you," he said, turning to Ms. Peterson, "have just failed spectacularly." A stunned silence gripped the room. The supervisor's face went pale, his jaw slack. Ms. Peterson's triumphant smile faded instantly, replaced by a look of shock and fear. Someone in the crowd began recording the moment, their phone camera capturing every detail. Charles Evans remained calm, addressing the assembled staff and passengers with quiet authority. My role is to ensure that airport security procedures are followed correctly and that all passengers are treated with dignity and respect. What happened here today was a clear abuse of power and a failure to follow protocol." He turned to the supervisor. "I need to speak with your manager immediately. There will be a full report filed with the FAA, and I recommend you begin collecting statements from everyone who witnessed this incident." As security and management rushed to the scene, passengers whispered among themselves, some expressing outrage, others disbelief. Charles Evans spoke quietly with the airport manager, explaining the situation and outlining the failures in the boarding process. The manager, mortified, apologized profusely to Charles and to the onlookers, assuring everyone that the matter would be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, Ms. Peterson was led away by security, her face flushed with humiliation. The tension in the air slowly dissipated, replaced by a sense of justice and vindication. Several passengers approached Charles, thanking him for exposing the mistreatment and expressing support for his calm and dignified handling of the ordeal. As news of the incident spread, video footage quickly went viral online, sparking conversations about the importance of fair and equal treatment for all passengers, regardless of appearance or background. Comment sections filled with messages of support for Charles and calls for accountability within airport security teams nationwide. Charles Evans's actions didn't just resolve a personal injustice, they shone a spotlight on broader issues of bias and discrimination that too often go unaddressed in everyday situations. By staying calm and refusing to escalate the confrontation, he modeled the power of dignity and principle in the face of adversity. This story is a reminder that, even in the most unexpected places, our true character is revealed, not just by how we act when we think no one is watching, but by how we respond when we hold power over others. The lesson here is clear: authority should always be exercised with respect, integrity, and a commitment to fairness. When we fail to do so, we risk not only our own reputations, but the trust and confidence of the people we are meant to serve. If you found this story thought-provoking, now is the perfect time to subscribe to our channel. Each week, we bring you stories that challenge perceptions, provoke reflection, and remind us of the values that matter most. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever witnessed or experienced something similar in your own life? Your story might inspire others to stand up for what's right, just as Charles Evans did. If this story resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to this channel right now to hear more stories that challenge, inspire, and reveal hidden truths. Your voice matters. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think about what happened to Elijah. Do you believe justice was served? Also, don't forget to hit the like button to help this story reach more people who need to hear it. Share this video with someone who should know that even in the darkest moments, one phone call can change everything. Your support drives this channel forward. Thank you for being part of this community.